Have you ever found yourself nodding along in a conversation only to realize maybe a few minutes later that a seemingly simple English phrase completely went over your head? Or maybe you've struggled sometimes to pick the just right expression, to convey exactly what you mean.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time, even to people who are pretty fluent. Those everyday phrases, they can look so straightforward, but underneath, they carry so much nuance. Context is everything.
Exactly. They're sort of the secret handshake of really fluent communication, aren't they? Well, today we're going to take a deep dive into some of those phrases, the ones that are, super common, but also incredibly powerful if you know how to use them right. We're aiming to really pull back the curtain on how they work, why the little details matter, and most importantly, how you can start using them with real confidence.
Yeah, and our source material today gives us a great starting point. It lays out 4 really common phrases that often trip people up. And the challenge for us is to break down what they mean and show them in action, in different situations.
Which phrases are we tackling?
We're going to dig into callback, go through, returning call, and on the other line.
Yeah.
And it's not just about definitions. It's about getting a feel for when each one sounds natural, when it fits.
Right. It's like the difference between just knowing a word exists and really understanding it. So our mission today for you listening is to help you get past just like recognizing these phrases. We want you to really master them. By the end of this, the idea is you'll feel comfortable using callback, go through, returning call, and on the other line, just naturally, instinctively even.
No more pausing and wondering, did I use that right?
Exactly. It's about unlocking that next level of fluency.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how these tiny little units, just a couple of words sometimes, can pack such a punch that carries so much meaning. When you use them correctly, it's not just about sounding more authentic, it's about being clearer, conveying your intention, the tone. It's incredibly efficient.
Sort of like little communication power-ups.
Kind of. They're tools, really. High-leverage tools that add color and depth. They help you sound more natural because you grasp the underlying idea, not just because you're copying something.
Okay, fantastic. Let's unpack this then. Let's jump right in. We're going to kick things off with a phrase I'm sure everyone hears practically every day, especially now. Callback.
Very common.
At its core, callback is basically about reciprocity, right, on the phone. It's the simple act of returning a phone call.
Yeah, whether it's right away or maybe later on.
So imagine this. Your phone rings or buzzes. You look down, see a missed call. Maybe you're busy in a meeting or something. What's the thing you mentally note to do later?
You call them back.
Exactly. You call back the person. It's that direct response, closing the loop.
So you might say, oh, I saw I missed your call. Sorry about that. I'm calling you back now. Something like that.
Perfect. Direct. Efficient. Tells them exactly why you're ringing them.
And that directness is really key. But it's not only about missed calls, is it?
No, good point. It's maybe even more common when you're asking someone else to return your call.
Right. Like leaving a voicemail. That's a classic example.
Yeah. You might finish your message with, okay, could you please call me back when you get a chance? Or just leaving a message for Sarah to call me back.
It clearly sets the expectation. It's an instruction, basically. Puts the ball in their court to make the next move.
Yeah, it delegates that next step. And I think what's neat about callback is how it can signal urgency or not. It depends on the other words you use.
Exactly. The context is crucial. You can dial the urgency up or down.
So if it's really important, you wouldn't just say, call me back. You'd add something. Right?
Definitely. You'd say, look, this is urgent. Please call me back as soon as possible. Or call me back the minute you get this.
That as soon as possible really flags it.
It does. But for something routine, you might say, okay, great. I'll call you back after lunch, just to confirm those details.
C. Same phrase, call back. But the feeling is totally different. One's urgent, the other's just a normal follow-up. No pressure.
And that's the power of it. It's concise, it's clear. Everyone understands call back. It just means make the return call.
Yeah.
Cuts through any confusion.
And it works both ways, which is important. You can call back or you can ask someone else to call back.
Right, so you could say, the line's busy. Okay, I'll call back in 5 minutes. That's you doing the action.
Or you could be waiting for a call and someone tells you, maybe a colleague, oh, the manager's PA said he'd call you back by 5 p.m.
Exactly. That's someone else's planned action. That flexibility makes it so useful in everyday English.
You mentioned an analogy earlier, like returning something.
Yeah, I find it helpful to think of it like returning an item you borrowed. Someone initiated contact, they sort of gave you a call. And by calling back, you're giving it back. You're completing that exchange, acknowledging their initial reach out.
It's like a little social contract for phone calls.
That's a great way to put it. A linguistic social contract. It turns that missed connection into an expected next step. It keeps the communication flowing.
Okay, super clear. Now, one quick tip before we move on common mistakes, because even simple phrases can have little traps.
Always good to cover those.
With callback, you don't usually stick prepositions like to or at right after it when you're saying who you're calling.
Right, so you wouldn't say call back to me or call back at Sarah.
No, it's just call me back or call Sarah back. The who comes right after the phrase.
A subtle point, but getting it right definitely makes you sound more natural. It shows you've got a handle on how these phrasal verbs work.
Definitely. And nailing these little details, like you said, it sort of sets us up perfectly to think about how callback compares to other similar phrases.
Because if callback is about that direct action, our next phrase is, well, you called it a chameleon earlier.
I did. Because if callback has its nuances, just wait until we try to go through this next one.
Nicely done.
But seriously, go through is one of those phrases that does so much work in English. Its meaning can shift dramatically based on the situation.
It really can. It's a fantastic example of how context drives meaning for phrasal verbs. I was also a bit surprised when I listed out all its uses. It wears a lot of hats.
So where do we even start trying to, untangle all its different meanings?
Well, our sources helpfully break it down. We can look at, say, 4 main meanings, and we need to pay close attention to the context for each one. The first meaning, probably one of the most common, is to examine or review something in detail.
Okay, examine or review, like carefully checking something.
Exactly. Not just glancing. It implies a thorough, maybe step-by-step inspection or analysis, really digging into it.
Right, a bit like what we're doing now. Like in a work meeting, someone might say, okay, team, we really need to go through these budget figures before the presentation.
Perfect example. It means check them carefully, understand them, look for errors, maybe analyze trends. It's not a quick skim.
Or if you were studying, you might say, ugh, I have to go through all my lecture notes again to find that one theory.
Yes, sifting through information, looking for something specific, a systematic search. Or even just, let me go through my emails to find that attachment. Still implies checking each one.
And it works for physical things too, right? Like, I need to go through my wardrobe and decide what to donate.
You're not just looking, you're handling each item, evaluating it, making a decision. It's a detailed sorting process.
I remember a friend saying they were going through old photo albums. Immediately you picture them looking carefully at each picture, probably reminiscing.
That's it. This usage really emphasizes that thorough, often sequential process, checking everything from start to finish. Like the example, let's go through the contract line by line. That screams detailed scrutiny.
So, meaning number 1, detailed examination or review. Got it. What's next on the list for this chameleon phrase?
Okay, the second meaning is quite different. It adds an emotional layer, often a difficult one. It's to experience or endure something, usually a difficult situation.
Okay, so this isn't about documents. It's about life stuff, hardship.
Exactly. Challenges, difficult periods, things you have to cope with and get through. It could be personal, or it could affect a whole group or company.
So you might say, my friend is going through a really tough time at the moment after the redundancy.
Precisely. Going through there conveys all the stress, the uncertainty, the emotional strain of that experience. It suggests it's a period of difficulty, not just a single event.
It really does add that weight, doesn't it? It's about living through something, not just looking at it.
Yes. Or think about a company. The whole department is going through a major reorganization.
Yeah.
That implies stress, uncertainty, changes everyone has to adapt to, a collective challenge.
Okay. And does it apply to, like, medical things, too?
Definitely. He had to go through months of physical therapy after the accident, or she went through several rounds of interviews for that job. It implies a process that requires effort, endurance, maybe it's unpleasant or stressful.
So it's about enduring the process itself.
So when someone says, it was incredibly challenging, but we all went through it together, it highlights that shared experience of facing and overcoming adversity. It implies resilience.
Okay, that's meaning number 2, experiencing or enduring hardship. Quite different from the first one. What's number 3?
Meaning number 3 takes us into more procedural territory, to be approved or accepted.
Like getting the green light for something?
Exactly. Think applications, proposals, deals, payments. When something goes through, it means it's been officially accepted or completed successfully. It's made it past the hurdles.
Right. Like you might anxiously ask someone, did your loan application go through? You're waiting for that yes or no from the bank.
Perfect. Or, in business, you might hear the relief in someone's voice. Phew, after all that negotiation, the deal finally went through. Meaning it's signed, sealed, delivered. It's official.
All the checks passed, all the approvals are in place.
Yep. Or even a simple online payment. I tried to buy the tickets, but the payment didn't go through. Meaning it failed, it wasn't accepted.
So the key here is successful completion or official validation.
That's the core idea. It signifies moving from pending or proposed to done or approved. Like the example, the new policy went through the committee. It means the committee approved it. It's now official.
Okay, examine, endure, get approved. This phrase really does cover a lot of ground. Is there a fourth main meaning?
There is. The fourth one often relates more to physical movement, though it can be figurative too, to passage or penetrate.
Passage or penetrate, like moving from one side of something to the other.
Exactly. In its most literal sense, the tunnel goes through the mountain. Or, unfortunately, the stray bullet went right through the window. It describes moving across or into something.
Okay, that's pretty clear. How does it work figuratively?
Think about communication. We've all had this happen. I sent you a text, but I don't think it went through. Did you get it?
Right. The message tried to pass from my phone to yours, but it failed. It didn't penetrate the network or whatever barrier was there. It got blocked.
Precisely. Or, I tried to upload the file, but the connection timed out and it didn't go through. The data transfer failed. It didn't complete the passage.
Wow. Okay, so just those two words, go through, can mean examine, endure, get approved, or pass through. That's a lot.
It is. And that's why context is absolutely king here. The words around it, the situation, the tone, they all give you the clues you need to figure out which meaning is intended.
So the key for listeners is really to tune into that surrounding context.
Definitely. But there is a sort of common thread, isn't there? A feeling of a journey or a process in most of these uses.
How do you mean?
Well, whether you're examining items one by one, or enduring a period of time, or getting an application approved step by step, or literally moving from one place to another, there's always a sense of progression. Movement from a start point to an end point, or through a duration or a barrier.
I see that now. Even the preposition through itself suggests that, doesn't it? Moving across or completing something.
Exactly. And what's fascinating linguistically is how this one versatile phrase manages to capture all these different kinds of progression: sequential, chronological, procedural, physical. It's incredibly efficient language. Lets us describe complex processes very concisely.
It really is a linguistic Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Okay, so that naturally leads us to think about comparison again. We talked about callback. Now, what about returning call?
Right.
They sound so similar. What's the deal here? Are they interchangeable, or is there a subtle difference we need to know about?
There's definitely a difference, though it is subtle. They're related, for sure, but they're not quite the same. They often work in different contexts, particularly around formality.
Okay, formality. Tell me more. How is returning call different from callback?
Well, the main thing is that returning call is almost always used as a noun phrase, or a gerund, the ing form acting like a noun. It describes the act of calling back, or it labels a specific call as a return call.
Okay, so it's more about naming the action or the call itself.
Exactly. And because of that, it tends to sound a bit more formal, maybe more administrative.
You're right. So let's think about scenarios. If I am calling someone back and I want to sound professional, I might use this.
Yes, absolutely. That's a prime use case. You'd pick up the phone or start the call and say something like, "Hello, this is your name. I'm returning your call about the invoice."
Ah, okay. I'm returning your call. It sounds quite polished, doesn't it? Very clear about the purpose.
It does. It immediately establishes the context why you're calling. It signals that this is a follow-up to their previous attempt to reach you. Very efficient in a business setting, leaves no doubt.
Sets a professional tone right away. Okay, I get that. And you said it's also used when someone else is handling the call, like an assistant.
Precisely. That administrative feel comes through there too.
Yeah.
Your assistant might buzz you and say, "Mr. Evans is on line 1, returning your call." Or, "You have a returning call from the supplier regarding that order."
Okay, a returning call. Used as a noun there. It labels the incoming communication clearly. Makes sense in a busy office.
Yeah, it's clear, it's informative, it keeps things professional.
So the key takeaway for returning call is that leaning towards professionalism and clarity.
I think so. It's very common in business settings. Exactly for that reason, clarity is valued. It signals this isn't just a random chat, it's a purposeful follow-up.
It implies there was a specific reason, a message or a request that prompted this call.
Exactly. It highlights the nature of this specific call. It's a response.
Yeah.
Which brings up that question. Why have both callback and returning call? Why the two options?
Yeah, why not just use callback all the time?
Well, returning call adds that layer of formality and specific context. It signals this is an official follow-up, which can be important in professional communication. It structures the beginning of the conversation differently than just saying, I'm calling you back.
It manages expectations for the interaction to follow.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Okay, let's try that role play idea. If I were calling a potential client back after they left a message, just saying, hi, I'm calling you back, I feel a little casual.
It could, depending on the relationship and context. It's not wrong, but maybe less formal.
But if I said, good morning, this is my name, I'm returning your call regarding the consultation you requested, that sounds...
Much more formal, more businesslike. Instantly sets the purpose, saves time, reinforces that professional image. It can make a better first impression in some cases.
So it's really about choosing the right tool. Callback is maybe more general, works informally too. Returning call is more specific, more formal, good for identifying the call's purpose clearly.
That's a great summary. It's a strategic choice. And it's fascinating how just a small shift in phrasing calling back versus returning your call can signal so much about formality and purpose. It really matters for communicating effectively in different situations.
Absolutely. Okay, that distinction is crystal clear now. Let's move on to our final phrase for today. On the other line.
Ah, yes, the classic busy signal in words.
Exactly. It paints a very clear picture, doesn't it? You immediately know someone's unavailable because they're already talking on the phone.
The core meaning is just that. The person you want to talk to is currently busy with another phone conversation. Temporarily unavailable.
It's a phrase really tied to the mechanics of phone systems, isn't it? Old landlines with multiple lines, call waiting on mobiles.
Absolutely. It evolved specifically to manage that situation when someone tries to reach you while you're already engaged in a call.
And the most common place you hear this is probably when calling a business, right? Through a receptionist.
Definitely. That's the prime scenario.
Yeah.
You call a main number, ask for someone, and the receptionist says, I'm sorry, Ms. Patel is on the other line right now. Would you like to hold, or shall I take a message?
Yep. Offers clear options, manages your expectation politely, standard customer service practice.
It's also used internally within organizations if you're trying to transfer a call to a colleague.
Right. And you hear their line is busy, you'd tell the caller, just trying to connect you to Mark, but it seems he's on the other line at the moment. Can I have him call you back?
Exactly. Explains the delay, offers transparency instead of just saying he's busy.
Now, maybe it feels a bit less common personally with everyone mostly on mobiles, but the idea still exists, maybe even digitally.
It does. You might still use it if you do have a multi-line system at work, or maybe even home, or even just telling someone physically present, hang on a sec, I've just got my boss on the other line.
Ah, okay. So it signals your attention is occupied by another conversation right now. Politeness again.
Yes, and that's a key nuance. It stresses temporary unavailability. They're not gone, they're just busy right now.
That distinction is important. It manages expectations without being dismissive.
And it's inherently polite. It's the established, courteous way to explain why someone can't take a call, and it usually comes with those helpful alternatives.
Yeah.
Hold or leave a message. It's baked into phone etiquette.
It implies you have to wait, basically, like joining a queue.
That's a great way to think about it, the queue concept. The person's attention is serving someone else, and you need to wait your turn. It makes perfect sense visually.
So next time you hear they're on the other line, you know it's just a pause, not a rejection. Their focus is just elsewhere for a moment.
And interestingly, even though the technology changes, we have Slack, Teams, video, calls the core idea of being engaged or busy in one conversation and unavailable for another persists.
Right. Being in a meeting on Zoom is kind of the modern on the other line, isn't it?
In a way, yes. It highlights that fundamental human thing. We generally focus on one main conversation at a time. So the phrase or the concept behind it remains relevant. Language adapts to describe these communication logistics, even with new tech, while still aiming for clarity and politeness.
It shows how language reflects our social behaviors around communication tools.
Fascinating.
Right.
Wow. Okay, we've really covered some ground today. 4 phrases that seem simple but are packed with meaning.
We looked at callback and returning call, both about responding, but with different levels of formality.
Right. Callback, more general. Returning call, more formal, specifying the call's purpose. Then we really dug into the chameleon. Go through, examining things closely, enduring hardship, getting approval, or physically passing through. So many meanings.
Context is everything for that one.
Absolutely. And finally, on the other line, that polite way of signaling someone's temporarily busy on another call, part of phone etiquette.
Each one really does offer a little window into how English works in practice, doesn't it?
It does. The flexibility, the importance of context, the subtle shifts in formality.
And our goal for you listening was really to give you the tools to use these phrases with more confidence, to help you avoid that momentary confusion and just sound, more natural when you speak.
Because mastering these nuances is what really takes your communication up a level, makes it clearer, more effective.
So here's a little challenge for you now. Since you've got this deeper understanding, start listening out for these phrases in movies, songs, other conversations.
Pay attention to how people use them. What's the context? What meaning is intended?
And then give it a go yourself. Try using returning call in a work email. Listen for the different shades of go through. Practice is how this stuff really sticks.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to try them out. And, thinking about this deep dive, it really highlights something broader.
What's that?
That understanding these little linguistic units isn't just about learning vocabulary. It's about getting insight into the culture of communication, the practical ways native speakers manage interactions, the unspoken rules.
Yeah, the underlying logic.
Exactly. And makes you wonder, doesn't it, how many other seemingly simple phrases are out there just waiting for us to unpack them? And what new levels of understanding and connection could that bring if we did?
A thought to ponder. The journey of language is definitely ongoing.
Always more to discover. Infinitely rewarding.